Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, I'd like to start by thanking Eurometaux for giving me the opportunity to share my views on Europe's raw materials challenge. The new study you discussed today is very timely and very valuable input to the EU raw materials agenda. I would also like to thank Aurubis and Umicore for the insightful visit to their plants in Holland and their kind welcome. The innovative and cutting-edge technologies are absolutely crucial to enhance our resilience while reducing the environmental and carbon footprint of raw materials needed for the green and digital transition. First of all, I'd like to reassure you that Europe is taking its industrial destiny back into its own hands, including in the area of raw materials. This new assertive industrial policy is not about a question of wanting to produce everything in Europe, but of diversifying our sources of supply and also securing the entire supply chain. This is particularly important as we have entered in what I like to call the new geopolitics of supply chain. Raw materials are absolutely vital for our green and digital transition, and they are a pillar of our resilience. That is why we are pursuing an ambitious agenda in the area of raw materials based on more circularity, exploring sustainable domestic production, and of course, continuing to diversify our supplies through strategic partnerships with reliable partners across the globe who share our environmental and social standards. All of this requires investments in innovation and skills. The Commission has received a strong and unequivocal political mandate from the EU leaders and the European Parliament to pursue its work in this direction. When visiting Umicore and Aurubis facilities, I got a strong sense of the readiness of EU companies to be part of this process. Secondly, I'd like to expand on the importance of the circular economy and recycling. I fully agree with the conclusion of your study that recycling is a long-term opportunity to improve EU metals and raw materials resilience. The use of secondary raw materials has increased over years. For instance, more than 50% of metals such as iron, zinc or platinum are recycled, and they cover more than 25% of the all EU's consumption. However, for many critical raw materials, including those for batteries, rare earth elements, silicon metal, germanium and gallium or indium, Europe has only insignificant capacities. For example, currently 95% of electric vehicles use rare earths, permanent magnet. Wind turbines contain on average 600 kilos of permanent magnets per megawatt. Considerable amount of magnets are used in electronic devices. The potential for recycling is therefore significant, but it remains unexploited in the EU. Less than 1% of the end-life magnets are actually recycled here. Most of them are being exported to Asia for this purpose. Another example is solar panels. 90% of raw materials used are potentially recoverable and recycled, but EU recycling capacities are not in place. So, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, I think we can all agree on the fact that without a more strategic approach to developing primary and secondary raw materials capacities in Europe, there will be no green and digital transition, no technological leadership, and no resilience. Disruptions caused by COVID-19, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, increases in energy and raw materials prices are yet another stark reminder of the importance of raw materials for our industrial ecosystems and the resilience of our value chains. We absolutely need to make sure that the share of domestically produced primary and secondary raw materials increases significantly in the coming years, and that our strategic dependencies diminish. This is an ambitious yet necessary and realistic objective. Finally, and to take an holistic approach, let me emphasize the importance of access to abundant and affordable decarbonized energy and resource-efficient and circular business models. This is one of my top priorities and one of the biggest challenges of this decade. We are embarking on a difficult path on which we will have to move forward in close ranks. But let me be clear, we will be ready. It is our responsibility. I would like to wish to thank you all for your attention and, of course, the organizer for the opportunity to provide, I hope, some useful insight into today's discussion. Thank you very much.